Okay.
This is better. You can hear me now, everybody, right? You can hear me now. It's a thing. Hi, everyone. It's been a while. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Uh, I am your friendly neighborhood Prax. Welcome to the channel. It's a Sunday night, which means we do TTRPGs here. And I have a new group of people to bring joy and pleasantries to. Um, Also, emotional damage and possible. We'll find out. Um, hey, everybody. I am your friendly neighborhood Prax. And tonight we're going to be playing one of my favorite games that does not get quite enough love um, Vampire the Masquerade Dark Ages. And I will do my spiel at the end. I'm going to go around, let my players do a brief introduction of who they as a player are, because we're going to introduce characters in the near future.
Mm.
So why don't we start directly above me on the overlay? Arvandis, go.
Hey, hey, folks. You may know me on most social media as Arvandis, real name Jesus. And since I don't have to introduce my character because something in the future is going to happen, apparently. I'm a dude, likes playing role-playing games. I've been part of a role-playing podcast called Fanable for the last, oh God, 15 years. That's a long time. Where we play a wide variety of tabletop role-playing games. And I also have a YouTube channel called Arvandis, where I explore the lore of various tabletop war games. A little niche, but I like it. And that's me in a nutshell, ready to play some vampire and be a. No, wait, I'm a vampire. I'm not a hero. I'm just a dude. I'm a dude. Hey.
Indeed. Welcome. I appreciate you joining the shenaniganry and fun and darkness. And next up, next to the right, his right. Hey, PB, welcome back. How you doing? How's life going?
Hi, I'm PB from at PB Plays Inside, and I am very excited to be here, be playing this game with all you lovely people. It's been a little bit, and I can't wait for you guys to see what we've got going.
And last but certainly never least, hey Pope, how are you? How's life going for you?
All right. Hey, everybody. Pope here. Pope World Build on the internets. Incredibly glad to be back here Sunday nights. And looking forward to going back in time.
Indeed, back in time. Just a bit. 1230 to be exact. 1230 AD. And yes, I'm using the term AD. You are. CE is not yet a concept. Anno Domini is indeed the world in which this dark night falls. And it is indeed this night, as all nights eventually will be, that leads to new changes. We have a question to ask as the world begins to change around us. It's the 13th century. We've finished the Sixth Crusade. Frederick is Holy Roman Emperor and has just signed a peace treaty with the Pope. But Sicily is now under open management. Frederick has renounced his title as Emperor of Sicily, but kept Sicily as a part of the Holy Roman Empire. Officially, La Sombra sleeps in Castello d'Ombra, but no one's seen him in decades, maybe a century or two. Except, perhaps, the La Sombra out of Hispania. But now that Frederick rules over Sicily, and the Pope's minions have been chased away, including those, shall we say, vigilant, aggressive, zealous cardinals and members of the Inquisition and Hunt, well, that served them. New opportunities are opening for the kindred of this island. And so we begin this chronicle on the east coast, the southeast coast, in the city of Syracuse, one of the oldest cities on the island. The Orgiata, the original city, still is the home to the majority of the population, both kindred and kind. You have an oldness even in this new world order. You can walk through the Piazza del Duomo and have the Duomo itself look down upon you. It's old, tall columns. The facade is new, finished in the 8th century, but it was built on an ancient Greek temple. Built, repurposed. The piers and quays of the harbor were built by both the Greeks and the Romans. Now the ships sail in and out, Venetian, Byzantine, Ottoman, North African. But these piers have been here for centuries. The amphitheater still hosts festivals and a thriving nightlife, as it is. Young lovers still walk through the Temple of Apollo, courting both each other and the dangers of the dark of the night. There aren't many kindred here, or at least not a lot by modern standards. But who lives here, who make their home here, they're all unique. So, I have a question for you all. Where do we find the friends tonight? Where do we find each of you? Why don't we start with, we'll go in the order we introduced ourselves. Arvandus, where do we find you this night of nights?
Hey guys, we find Pietro being a gentleman and one could say wannabe rich clothes, dressed almost to the nines, except, by stuff that he got secondhand. I mean, he's used to finer garb, but due to circumstances where his previous ship was, one could say, unjustly taken from him, he finds himself in the middle alley. He himself is a tallish, skinny man with a pale skin and almost like a beard that goes down to a tip. But if you look closely at his pale skin, you know something off about it. There's almost a bluish tinge to it, as if he's sick with something, but he looks spry. And before him in this alley are three individuals, former members of his crew, who, all of them human, who he treated well on his ship. And due to circumstances beyond his control, had been unable to pay them for their last journey because, he no longer had a ship to acquire more wealth. And these three individuals who did not know he was of the knightly persuasion had come to him demanding payment. Three big, brutish men carrying various implements. And as I stand before, like, gentlemen, please, we worked together for years. We do not need to have any trouble before us. I suggest we all just calm down. I would hate for violence to have such individuals I've employed who have such grand skills to make a mistake tonight. And that's basically what I'm trying to convince them to not do anything foolish. I cannot hear you.
You're trying to convince them, I hear.
I'm just trying to, because you know what? They're valuable crew. They know how to do their jobs. Let's just try.
You're trying to convince
I'm
them.
trying because finding good help is so hard. I may not have a ship, but I may have a ship again, and I know these guys know how to do their job.
So what I'm hearing is we're gonna have a roll.
Oh, I made a mistake, but I'm going to go with it.
So I'm thinking you have an option. You have a choice. You can go with charisma persuasion. Wait, hold on. Persuasion is not one of the skills in this one. Charisma expression. There we go.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. This is the joy of having many different editions of a game. Yes. Charisma expression. Or you can use manipulation empathy. Your choice.
I'll go with manipulation empathy. Gentlemen, please, we can make this work. Just have faith in me.
You owe us money.
Money I will get you when I get a new ship. If harm comes, oh, right, 2 ones. Oh, God.
That's a failure.
That's a straight up failure.
That's not a botch.
That's not a bot.
That's a failure.
But that's straight up failure. Yeah. Oh.
These gentlemen are not in the mood. They may have had a bit too much vino legale to get their courage up. And I mean, let's be honest, they left the vino legale, they were drinking some strega. And perhaps didn't want to hear. They just want their money. So one of them, the wiry, thin one, works good with the lines, ties a good knot. Kind of aggressively, oddly good with the knot work on lines.
I was worried about that one.
He's a little shifty. He's a little shifty in the eyes. He looks to his buddy, who's a little bit larger, broader of shoulders. He was good with hoisting, moving, ballast. Didn't ask many questions. There's a look. And there's a rope coming out your face. And a knife coming at your chest. Because if they can't get their money from you, well, there are many people they could sell you to and get their money that way.
Well, I tried.
You did. You did indeed try. There are 3 of them, you say. What do you want to do?
I sigh, My hand that was behind on my back, from them burst these massive talons. And as the rope comes near, I go towards the shifty one. You never trust the shifty ones. You go for them first. The other guy's bigger, but this one, he's crafty. And I aim for his throat, aiming to go through his throat and rip out his spine.
Okay, so that sounds like a strength brawl rather
Mm-hmm.
than a dex brawl.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're, trying to pull his spine out through his throat. That seems like strength.
You know what? That makes sense. Okay, so let me roll that up. Do 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 do. Ooh. Okay.
Yay. Um,
Huh. What was the difficulty?
well, it was going to be a 2. We do have a
Okay.
problem. However, technically the 10 explodes. Although
Mm-hmm.
the 1 takes away the success. So roll another d10.
9.
9. So you
Success.
have 1 success. I'll say you have 2 successes. One and a
Oh,
half. One and a half.
one thing I forgot to include. I do have potence.
Oh, you have potent.
So
Well,
well, I get
that's
potence of 1, which gives me automatic success.
So you have 2
I
successes.
think, right?
Then.
Or is that for
Yes.
no.
damage?
It potence is for damage.
Oh,
Potence
okay,
for
never mind.
damage. Potence is for
Okay.
damage.
Okay.
It counts. It gives you an extra 1 for damage.
Okay.
So it's a 1.5 success. You managed to grab his throat.
Okay.
You have not pulled his spine out of his throat.
You know what? Next time.
But these individuals are going to try and, grab you.
I mean, fair.
Um, okay. So they have 2 successes. By the way, ones on the second roll we're not counting as taking away from successes because it just doesn't give you an extra.
Okay.
Otherwise it becomes way too much math in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I like making my math easy. Math is math, and adding and subtracting is things.
Mm-hmm.
So they have 2 successes, which means because there are 3 of them, they're coming around you. The shifty one is you got him by the throat, so he's like, I'm just gonna try and grab, the hand that tie up the
Mm-hmm.
hands that are holding that
Yep.
you're holding him with. The larger guy, a little darker tan on him.
Mm-hmm.
He shaved his head, and he's got the knife that he shaves his head with, trying to come up under, your rib cage and
Mm-hmm.
hold it there while they kind of tie you up. While the third guy is, coming around behind and holding a knife, a little anxious because he wasn't really on board with the whole stabbing their captain, but
As you do, as you do.
So, technically you're grappled.
Mm-hmm.
But you can attempt an action, because their action was to try and get a hold of you.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you like to do?
Uh, so I'm holding one with by the throat. The other 2 are trying to stab. One's trying to, stab me lightly, politely. The other one's trying to get that rope in.
Mm-hmm.
The one with the rope, I want to kick out and hit his knee as hard as I can.
Okay, you're already holding him by the throat, so it should be...
Mm-hmm.
I will reduce the difficulty by 1.
Mm-hmm.
So you only
Okay.
need 2 successes. Again, that sounds like either a dex brawl or a strength brawl. Your choice.
Strength it is.
I like giving people options. That's better. Well,
Mm-hmm.
you can re-roll that 10.
Let's do it. Nope. Oh,
So
God
1
damn it.
success.
Okay. This.
You've kicked him. You've done some damage to him because you did kick at him, but he's
I have
still
9
holding
dice in this.
You do. You have 9 dice in this.
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Yeah.
They're gonna try again.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna try again. Oh, they have a success.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. Or the 2 successes.
Mm-hmm.
2 successes. They're going. The guy with the knife is going to stab through your ribs because you kicked his buddy, and
Mm-hmm.
you're going to take 1 point of what is it? Bruised.
Lethal.
Lethal. No, because it's not aggravated.
Well, there's bashing, lethal, and ag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would be lethal. Sorry, not aggravated.
Okay. Well, I have 2 in fortitude, so I can roll against that with 2 dice, right?
Yep.
Yes, you can always roll your fortitude, and typically you also get to roll your stamina against because you're a vampire.
Oh, right. Okay, so I get to roll my stamina plus my fortitude.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So.
Your total stamina versus your total fortitude.
Okay.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay. Okay.
You can re-roll that 10 if you want, but
Sure. Why not?
you've already. It was only going to be 1 point of lethal, anyways.
All right.
Yeah, you're fine.
He stabs it. I don't even notice.
Yeah.
I'm just annoyed that this is. What do they make you out of? Jeez. Ah.
Peace and vinegar, the good kind.
I rip off his head.
Okay, so that's a strength brawl.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
And I get
that's
to
going to
reroll-
be better.
I get to re-roll that. 1 sec.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mhm.
5 successes. Whose
Yep.
head are you ripping off?
The guy I have my hand around his throat. He's like, oh, this fucker.
Yeah, okay, you can rip his throat off.
Mm.
Just, I have make a quick roll, please. Yeah. So the guy who was behind you, who wasn't really into the stabbing your captain in the first place, he's running.
Can I try to grab him before he runs away?
Well, you've still got the guy who stabbed you, and this
He's
is the
not
guy
bothering
behind
me.
you. So
He's not bothering me too much. Yeah, I'm
You
gonna because
can.
I don't. Yeah, I'm gonna try to grab him, even though the other guy has a knife.
Yep.
What am I rolling?
That would be a Dex Athletics.
Dex Athletics. All right, that's a 7. Ooh, you get to re-roll those 2.
Yes, you do. 3 successes so far. 4 successes. Yeah, you can grab him.
Okay. With the same bloody hand, that I used to basically grab the guy by the throat and rip off his head. I'm gonna grab him by the back with my claws going, grab his shirt, but with my claws going into his back. Don't you run! You made this decision.
Are you going to kill him?
Yes.
Okay, that's you've impaled him.
Mhm.
He's a weak kind.
Mhm.
He's gonna die.
Yeah.
While this is going on, we'll come back to this in a moment. I have a question for Elena. Where do we find you this fine night?
This fine night, you find me in a. Do we have carriages? You do carriages in this time period, right?
Yes,
I'm
they're
traveling.
They're not the same kind of
They're
carriages.
not fancies. They're not fancy.
They're not fancy. They're glorified
Yeah.
wagons, or they're sedan chairs. Trust me. there are a
Either
lot
way,
of those.
I'm not walking. Yeah, I'm not walking. You find Elena today, pulling into the city after a very long travel, all the way up from northern. It's not called Italy in this time period. Up near what is it called? Venice. Up from Venice is being pulled Messina of House Busacarini, coming to visit the newly opened, fresh, beautiful kingdom of Sicily on behalf of the family. And she is pulling in about now, excited to see everything around the place.
So where are you coming in? You're coming in a carriage coming down? You're coming. So you didn't come by water. You came down from the northern coast. You made the crossing from at Messina, in the
Mhm.
Straits of Messina, which is always dicey. And you take a carriage down along the eastern coast through Taormina and Giardini and Naxos and Catania down to Syracuse and out to the Orgiata, which is the original city on the peninsula. Still
Exactly.
walled. Coming into these walls, what are you looking for this fine night as you enter this city?
This fine night, I am looking to find a location to settle for the night. Wink, wink. Um, for that is appropriate for a person of a little bit of nobility.
So we're looking for a type of. Are we looking for an inn of some sort? Is that what we're looking for? Or a public house? Or are we looking for something else?
Looking for something a little bit more fancy. We are coming in late at night, but I'm assuming someone was expecting. Word came down that we were coming. So
So you're
I have the
looking.
wrong
You're
map
looking for
open.
one of the guest
Exactly.
villas.
Yes. Villas. Good
Mhm.
word.
There are lots of those. Um, along. Let me ask a question. What are your resources?
On. I'll find my character sheet at some point. My resources. I shall find it soon. Boop, 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 boop. There's a lot of stuff on this page. Do, 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 do. Which page
Backgrounds
on?
are under
Backgrounds.
advantages, which are under abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Center column,
Uh,
right above your human.
right above my humanity.
Yeah.
Um,
Those are
it
your backgrounds.
is um 3.
Oh, you're very, very well off. Unlike the pirate fighting on the wharf at the moment, you are established. You have money. There is a. Well, the question is, how close do you want to be to the Piazza del Duomo?
Um,
Which is technically the
I would
center of town, but.
Yeah, I would say like a medium length away, like a solid few alleyways away.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so not like right up in it,
Mm-hmm.
but far enough that I'd have to take a little bit of a walk.
Okay. So a couple side streets, but still, established. There are a couple very nice palazzos in the city. Villas are outside the city. Villas are large areas with own land. They go with farming, all of these kind of things. Palazzos are inside the city walls. Um, from the outside, it doesn't look like much. It's a very large white marble, a facade, a single door, a couple windows high along the upper floor. You see some terracotta tiles pointing down. Syracuse is known for its marble. It's also really well known for its marble quarry. It's a little bit of a story on that one. It's a touristic visitor location. Also a nightly area for trysts, one might say. But as you approach, there's a quiet, older gentleman dressed in red and blue tunic, sandals. He just nods his head opens the big, heavy wooden doors with iron bindings across them into the courtyard of the inner side of the palazzo. The tile continues through, and all of the inside of the city is tiled. All of the streets are tiled. There are no dirt streets in the city. Haven't been since the Greek period. But there's also a restriction on livestock inside the city walls, so, you know. But as the tile continues inside to this courtyard, you can smell the night blooms of the lemon trees. You can smell the oranges growing ripe on the trees around you. There's a hint, not quite jasmine, but a little another sweetness. It's unique to Sicily. You would have never smelled it before. Unless you've been here before. Have you been to Sicily before?
I have not. This would be my first time.
Well, there's a very unique...
That's why I was so looking forward to it.
There's a very unique fruit that grows in this island. It doesn't grow anywhere else. It was created by the Arabs when they were in control of the city about 200 years ago. 300 now, actually. It's called prickly pear. Or at least that's the English translation. It's a cactus. It's this kind of unique citrus cactus sweetness kind of going on. You can kind of smell the fruits that are kind of hanging out as on a low table and on a wooden inside the courtyard. The older gentleman has come in. He's closed the heavy wooden doors. He leads you, gestures off to one side, the left side of the courtyard. Leads you up a set of sweeping marble stairs to the upper floor. There's a low window that looks out on the main street, but there's a larger lattice-covered window that opens out onto the courtyard. He gestures you into these white organza-covered sheer curtains that lead into this room and leaves you for the evening.
Well, before he walks out, I ask him, what is that wonderful smell? It is fruity. It is so different than anything I have experienced before.
The pears, the prickly pears, which I'm going to stick to English because if I kept going into Sicilian, I would get stuck in that language.
That's right. Prickly pear, you say? How very interesting. Do you eat this, or is this just a fragrance only?
Oh no, you eat them. You peel them and you eat them. You can drink them. You pickle them. Jam is good. I'll have my wife make you some breakfast. It's very good. I will bring you some good breakfast. It will be very good for you.
This is so very kind. Thank you so much. I look very much forward to it.
Buonasera, signora. And he will bow deeply as he leaves.
I wait for him to leave, and then I just very much just enjoy the niceties of the area. Seeing what the quality of the curtains may be, any fabrics, just appreciating all the marble niceties there may be here, since this is the city of marble, apparently.
Well,
The area of marble. And so I'm enjoying all the unique experiences that there is to see in here.
the curtains are lace and organza. Definitely imported from the east. A little expensive for what amounts to a port city. But that isn't the seat of power. Frederick and his court hold power in Palermo. Oh, well, that's not true. Frederick holds his court when he's in Sicily, in Palermo. But he is also Holy Roman Emperor. So, he holds title all the way north through France and Germania, all the way to the North Sea, he claims. But here there's an oldness to the city, a watchfulness to it. A city that has a history of standing unconquered. Could you roll me either intelligence, academics, or intelligence? We can go with either intelligence academics or intelligence politics.
Oh, politics. Okay. What's the best way for me to what's the best way for me to roll this?
Slash R the number of D10 that is the combination of intelligence and either academics or politics.
Okay. Will do. There it is. You ever just have so many tabs open you just can't find roll 20?
Yeah, I've been there.
Not 1d10. I have intelligence, politics. So adding them together?
Yep, that's the total
Yes.
number
Now,
of D10.
before the roll, if you want to, you can spend the willpower to get one automatic success.
Yes.
Oh.
And yeah, because you're not spending your blood pool right now. All right, so we can say 2 successes, because this is the politics rule. Was
Yes.
it politics or academics? Politics.
Politics.
As you're looking at this marble, you remember that this city has been unconquered, or at least it has a history of it. This city is renowned for its rebellious manner. All the way back to the Peloponnesian War, when the Athenians were fighting the Spartans. The Athenians turned to their colonies, of which Syracusa was. Well, the Athenians believed it was. It is true that Greeks came from that area and settled in Syracuse and founded that city. But that was 500 years before the Peloponnesian War. And Syracuse had sworn no oaths or paid no any tithes to Athens since. But the Athenians needed the Sicilian grain. So they sent a fleet of ships. They sailed across the sea. They came to Syracuse and got their butts handed to them. In the most vicious defeat the Athenian army would suffer through the entire Peloponnesian War. And it was rumored and storied that the Athenian prisoners of war were held at a location called Yorketta de Degnosa. the ear of Dionysus. What was a point of this marvelous marble quarry. And from there, all of the secrets of the Athenians were heard by the Syracusans. And, well, negotiations were had to ensure that Sicily remained independent of Athens and Sparta's wars. And that's how Syracuse likes to think of itself. Independent of all of these outside influences. Rome came, but the pirates that were in this, well, harbor ensured that the Romans left with nominal fees and didn't really do much else. The Normans came, the Arabs came, and now Frederick decrees himself Emperor of Sicily, well, Holy Roman Emperor, and decrees that Sicily belongs to these Germans. Many on this island would disagree, particularly in this city of Syracuse. We're
And
gonna
as
slide
I
Yep, go right ahead.
as I think that smelling the aromas, feeling the very expensive cloth, oddly specific cloth,
Mm-hmm.
I think this could be a city one gets used to if I were a person who got used to such things.
It could indeed be a very interesting city for you. But we're going to slide the camera over and check in on Sir Ludain of Perth. Where, pray tell, do we find you, sir?
First, we have to go back in order to go through.
Oh, well.
I've been up. I've been up a while. I've probably been up longer than either of these two. Light sleep. Um, and looked after the horses. Made sure Cassandra got her apple.
There's
Did a
something
little.
there's something metaphorical in that I have many questions about, but we'll hold on to that. You know, Cassandra getting an apple says many things.
Uh, she's my favorite mare. Um,
Again, many things could be said about that.
yes. Um, did a little practicing. Then got equipped. Got my armor on. Said my prayers. And I heard of Pietro's unfortunate entry into Syracuse. So I'm going to go, as honor demands, and find my acquaintance this
Oh,
evening.
we're trying to find Pietro.
I figured the wharf would be the best place to look.
It's not wrong. Could you roll me perception awareness? Unless you have something else you're trying to do here.
No. 3 successes.
Plus,
Oh, well, plus
I mean, because it could be a timing issue.
4 successes.
With 4 successes, you've been looking for a little while. It shouldn't be this hard to find Pietro. Usually, gentleman kind of sticks out. However, for reasons that are probably, shall we say, were the intention of certain people who were under the influence of a grand amount of vino legale. It was a little more difficult than expected, but not impossible and not improbable. It does, however, draw your attention when, you hear the sounds of somebody's head being ripped off. That crunch sound of a spine, the sucking sound of all the blood vessels, the gushing of arterial spray. It's distinctive.
There is a heavy sigh and then the sounds of somebody in full coat of plate, moving at speed.
I'm not going to. Well, actually, Pietro, could you roll me perception awareness? Or, excuse me,
I,
perception alertness, not awareness.
yeah, awareness is, as I've learned from Dan, who you will meet next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The W stands for wizard.
Yes.
So awareness is for the supernatural. Alertness is for the mundane.
Yep, among other things. So just perception alertness, please, Pietro. That's you, Arvandus.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't. Sorry, I didn't hear it. Sorry, I was paying attention.
It's okay. I've been there. Perception alertness.
Oh, okay, sure. One moment.
Because it's not like
Do-do-do.
he's being quiet, but you're kind of focused on
Well,
killing a bunch of people at the moment.
Sure,
uh,
sure, sure.
Sullivan has been accused of many things. Quiet is not.
60, 10.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, no. You hear a gentleman in full coat of plate running at slightly more than kind speed.
And where am I in the murder that I am currently committing?
Well, you've killed two, and
Mm-hmm.
then the gentleman who was stabbing you is going to attempt to. He's going to attempt to get away because you killed both of his friends now, and
Okay.
he's, you know.
Mm-hmm. If Ken, I'm going to go ahead and try to grab him if I have that chance.
You need to beat 3 successes with a strength brawl
Strength brawl, gotcha. Okay.
because he's running.
That's fair.
Excuse me.
That is a no.
That is very much a no. He kind
Mm-hmm.
Do
of
I
like,
see this?
oh yeah, you can kind of just you're coming around the corner. You see
Mhm.
the wharf. How is your night vision, Sir Ludain? Because it's not very well lit, although the light is reflecting pretty well off of the full moon reflects well off of the water and the marble.
It's rather mundane. Like, aside from him being a knight, the rest of them, like, he looks living.
No, that's fair. But there is enough torchlight that you can see somebody running away
Uh,
from. And
so, without comment and just taking in the scene,
well, you can definitely see the dead body that has his head ripped off. The
yeah,
other gentleman
yeah.
who's had his, what did you do to the second one?
The second one, I hit him in the back with my claws.
Oh yes, you
So
kind of
just run through.
yeah.
Just sort of run through. And you clearly say, like, get back here as I'm almost trying to chase him down.
I would like to spend some blood, please.
Oh, you can always spend blood. By the way, that was a thing. That's a thing that you can always do. You can always spend blood.
I would like to. Yeah, sure, we'll spend the full 4. I'm going to spend 1 to activate celerity,
Mm-hmm.
and then I will spend 2 on increasing my dexterity to 6. And the last one I will use to increase my strength to 5.
Okay.
Sounds like it's going to be fun times, but not.
Hmm.
I mean, it's going to be fun
Oh.
times for you, I guess.
I'm going to try and catch up with the kind who is running away.
Mm-hmm.
I think I am faster than him.
You are. He's a very large gentleman, and by large I mean about 6'3".
I believe Dane is 5'10". Um,
Respectable height for the period in time.
Mhm.
and then with my extra action, if I have caught up with him, I would like to use my bastard sword, please.
Well, I would love to have somebody use a bastard sword.
Awesome.
I love bastard swords. They are my second favorite weapon.
So I still get one success, even with all those ones.
Yes, you do.
Um, and with that, I
You
will roll the
do.
damage.
You will roll damage on one success. He's still trying to run away, by the way, but you caught up
Yeah,
to him.
yeah, it's not going to matter. Um,
I didn't think so, but sometimes,
and we add one additional success to this because of potence.
Two,
So,
3, 4, 5 successes with the fives because you're fighting a kind with a bastard sword who is not wearing any armor. He's a sailor.
we are going to remove the femur from the pelvis.
Oh, deboning the chicken. Go right ahead.
So, and just hollering back, you are in the city for less than 2 days, and you're already making a mess.
Not my fault. They came after me. Apparently, they're angry for some odd reason that I could not pay them immediately. As I saying this, I'm walking back. By the way, that's your kill. You get to drink, but go ahead. And I go to the other bodies, and the one I'm going to say the one in the back, uh, almost dead. I grab him, break him up by the neck, and start sucking him dry.
Okay. You can drink from him.
Hmm.
You can get 2 from him because he is, bleeding out before you can
Hmm.
get to him.
Okay.
But the other guy, you ripped off his head. Arterial
Fair.
spray is,
Fair. Oh, I forgot I don't have an extra set of clothing. Oh, being poor is terrible.
I see. You are down on your luck. Again.
I I lost my ship. It was a beautiful thing. The crew, best I've ever had. Especially that one. That one could toe a line like no one else. And I kick his head.
Is that entirely necessary? The man is already dead.
He came after me. Respect ends when you go after your captain.
I do agree he should be respected authority in the chain of command.
Exactly.
However, the church looks poorly. It's the disgrace of God.
Right, you're religious. Forgot about that. Awkward. Very awkward.
You try living in the Isles and not being religious.
True enough. I also, of course, believe in God and all of that, and praise unto him and sign of the cross and all that.
If there wasn't a God, we wouldn't be here.
True. Which makes you think, what would a God create beings like us? I say with blood dripping down my mouth.
Humanity needs to be reminded often that they should embrace the light of the Lord and stray away from the darkness. We are those reminders. As I begin policing the bodies and taking them to the pier.
I mean, from anywhere in this area, you don't have to go very far. However, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Could you roll me a perception alertness as you begin, as you said, policing the bodies?
I will spend a willpower because this feels importante.
Hmm.
Three
Huh.
successes.
3 successes is still good. 2 successes.
Well, I spent the willpower, so
Oh,
three.
yeah, yeah, sorry, you spent the willpower. My apologies. Yes, you spent the willpower. So 3 successes. Um, as you begin policing the bodies and dragging them towards the pier, you look down and you realize something.
Well,
Unlike what you're used to in the north, along the Isles of Ibernia and Angleterre, there's nothing in this water. There are no fish along the pier. There are no well, there are rocks, but you can see them straight down. There's no sediment. There's no kelp. There's nothing. You know, if you drop these bodies here, they will be found. Probably with the fishermen who go out
oh no.
well, at
Yeah.
Vesper, at Menton. Because, fun fact about
This,
the Straits of Messina, they just flush everything. So the entire eastern coast of Sicily, you can literally look down and see the bottom of the ocean about 30, 40 feet deep, out, about almost half a mile from the island. It's one of the more interesting ecological, geographical things that happens around that island. That also means that there's not allowed to eat them very quickly.
Why aren't you throwing them into the pier?
because they can be seen. I'm not used to living near water.
Ah, that should have been obvious. Oh well, we'll build them in bags for now. We'll find a place.
Yes, because I carry large burlap sacks on me everywhere I go.
You're in the docks, just burlap sacks everywhere. Just look around. And I'm looking around some burlap sacks, and I'm gonna start crushing the bodies into convenient packages.
I mean, you have both fortitude and potence. That's not
Mm-hmm.
actually hard for you to do.
Mm.
Yeah, that it's going to make a bit of a mess, but you can do it.
Yep.
And yeah, it's you can find a bunch of burlap and heavy linens and whatnot that you can manipulate into taking possession of the bodies.
Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah.
We
There's
need
a
to find the
moment
cart.
you do that as I put him in the bag, and he says, still angry. And there's a scene of me carrying the bag and just bashing him like Hulk on Loki in Avengers. Bam, bam, trying to flatten the bodies in the burlap sack. Blood
Could you make
spraying.
less noise, please?
There's no one around. Bam, 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 bam.
or no one who wants to pay attention to you.
Let's find the cart and take them to the nearest pig farm.
Ah, I love pigs. Such clean animals.
You
Throw them
They
in.
are they are
you
more intelligent than many people I know.
Yeah, I know. I know. I had one small pig. I had it in a pit, but grew big. Apparently, small pig, fake. Many people think it's real, but no. They grow. They always grow.
Everything grows.
Wise, very wise. You are a smart man. You know that. There's a
I'm not
wisdom.
I, I am not smart. I am wise. I have experienced a lot of stupidity, mostly on my own part.
Haha. Humble too.
Humility is along the path of God.
Sure. Now help me shove this into a corner. Ugh.
Just just put it on the cart.
Well, I'm trying to. I need to flatten it. I don't want it to be obvious there's a body in here. You understand? Smash.
I mean, all of these things are true. You don't want to be obvious that there's a body. Um, So you want to find a pig farm, which means you
I
have to
think I
go.
know just the one because I live inland on
Oh,
Mm.
and I live inland, like just a little bit outside of Saracusa, in a recently repurposed church.
so I have a question. Was this a church that belonged to Frederick or the Pope?
It has changed hands from the papacy
Oh, good to know.
due to recent decrees. The monks abandoned it, so they might as well take it.
Mm. It was a. Did you do the thing that they do, the deconsecration or whatever, so that you don't make
The
piss on God or whatever you do? I heard you do that.
God has no trouble with me, and why would I desecrate one of his holy sons?
No, that's what's the term? Because it's not going to be a.
Deconsecrate?
That's one. That's the one. Yes, that's the one. Yes, because you're not. I think is that one of your rules that you're not supposed to. If it's not going to be a church anymore, you make sure it's not holy or whatever.
You know, it may very well become a church again once I leave. Therefore, there should remain consecrated.
So you allow pigs to shit in the church?
No, there is a pig farm nearby the church.
Oh, I thought it was in. I apologize. I misheard. I was mistaken. Never mind.
Oh, I am living there. I am caring for not only my horse, but a few of the other, like, farmers' horses, since there's nice stables
I
there that the brothers
apologize.
once had.
I
Um,
honestly thought you had pigs in the church, and that would have been weird.
but no, no, that-
I mean, they're technically God's animals. I'm just saying.
we are all not God's creation. I must remind myself. And there's just this long, very awkward conversation as I could just see the two of them. Like, one man absolutely coated in blood if you look underneath the muslin that we found to cover him and make him look even more awkward, and a knight who has barely any blood on him dragging this cart along.
Yeah, and that's what we do.
So while the two of you are going outside the city for the night, I want to check back in with Elena.
Elena has finished perusing the housing she is in, and she is going to go and walk around the city, see the sights when she can see them the best, and see, who's out there, what's happening, what's the lay of the land, understand the people here and sort of their motivation. She knows as a whole what Syracuse is kind of about, but what are the people about?
Ooh, and you're off the Piazza del Duomo. Piazza del Duomo is the center of town. You can hear a stringed instrument being plucked, someone singing an accompaniment. It's like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, but there are still people walking around the city. The torches are lit, lanterns glow brightly. You smell garlic and lemon, fennel. What does fenugreek smell like in English? Kind of like an anise almost.
Oh, yeah.
Not quite licorice, but closer to anise. You see young people out in the piazza. People listening to the music, singing along, clapping. Some people start dancing. This will go for a while, really until Vespers start ringing from the Duomo. And some will go home. Some will go to Vespers at the Duomo. But you realize that this city is alive at night, somehow more than even Venice was the last time you were there. Well, in the non-carnival season of Venice, I should say.
I
Mhm.
go ahead.
No, you go first.
I was gonna say I go around and I walk past crowd, seeing, listening to what they're talking about. I'm not looking for anything in particular. Not looking for secrets or anything in particular. Just what the people are saying. Um, the general like mood of the town, essentially, is what I'm looking for. And in when the people are dancing, I'll like jump in and I'll jump in and dance with them for a song before moving on. Just generally enjoying the atmosphere of the people of the night out here in Siracusa.
So, I need a roll from you.
Hmm.
I have a very important question.
Yes.
Do you speak Sicilian?
I is there languages in this game?
Yes,
Oh, yes.
it is a background you can take.
Well, no, linguistics is one of those
Linguistics,
optional skills that you can take.
yeah, linguistics is
Um,
an
Ling-
optional skill you can take. It's also a you can take in through backgrounds as well.
ah,
it is under knowledges. Each dot gives you additional language.
Yep, yep.
ah. Oh, then yes. Yes, I do. There it is. If it's not bold, apparently I just don't see it. Uh, I I would probably.
So I'm not going to make you roll to understand what people are saying. It's mostly this. There's a joyousness in the air. The
Mhm.
people like Frederick generally. They didn't weren't really fond of the Pope, and to be fair, most of Frederick's popularity comes from his mother, who was the Empress of Sicily.
Mm.
So it's like, oh, it's better than Gregory, who lives in Rome, and the Romans. What do they know about us? And Frederick did win the crusade, and did come back and start instituting certain things that were in favor of the local population. And the Pope was like, not so great. I kind of want to control everything. And
Mm.
so people are positive, are happy, really, that things are in the better, you know, more along the lines of that they're happy that, what's the word I'm looking for? That Frederick's taken over, that the Pope is gone, that peace is kind of settled on the island. They don't really care so much about this foreign landowners who are gonna, that's all no, it's all kind of so far away it doesn't matter to them. The
Mhm.
city is going to continue as it always has. There are young people who are courting on the streets at night, laughing. Most of the small children have gone to bed, of course, but a few of them stayed up. Vibe in the city is joyous. A few people, however, could I get you to roll me perception empathy.
Perception, empathy. Empathy,
Undertones.
perception. Um, let's see. Okay, that's another 4. And there's roll 20.
Get to
So
Eight.
reroll the 10.
we rolled the 10. 2 successes.
All right.
There are a couple kindred that you kind of sense but not a lot.
Hmm.
But you sense something else. Something hunting. As you move through these joyous crowds of kine out on the September evening, enjoying the warm weather, the lingering evening, the feel of celebration. There's something dark hunting through the city.
Interesting. And not familiar, not kin, as you say. Something darker.
With 2 successes, I would say it's something dark. It could be kindred. But it feels heavy, weighty. It flits across your feelings, your emotions. Almost as if you can just see it out the corner of your eye, and if you turn to look, it's gone. The shadows feel darker, less welcoming than they should to one of your sort. And the lanterns and the candles don't feel quite as bright.
And this is really harshing the vibe. I um I sense this heaviness, this weight as I'm flitting across yet another courtyard, enjoying the general liveliness of the city. Something that's not very, it's been kind of like a buzzkill along this part of the world for a little bit. Not Sicily in general, but like this general southern part of the world. Wars, people changing power, whatever. So being in a place that's so lively is so energizing. But having this uneasiness kind of following me almost,
I should clarify. This is me as a GM clarifying. It doesn't
yeah,
feel to be hunting you.
no, but it is killing my vibe. It's
That's
making
true.
me uncomfortable. Um, and I don't, it's my first night. I just got here. I don't want to, this is a tomorrow, Elena problem, not a today problem. That's a tomorrow night problem. So I am going to walk through the street and look for any unfamiliar fruits that I'm assuming is going to be the prickly pear. I'm not going to ask for it. I'm not going to be a tourist about it, but I am going to be looking out for it in case anybody like is still selling or even just has it in their hand. It shouldn't be too hard to just take it. I
I
am just
mean,
walking through the crowds.
you can see them on a couple fruit stands and that are kind of still open. You know, it's that feeling of in Sicily that's always been the same way. You walk after dinner. You walk after the heavy meal of the day, the big meal of the day. And then there's
Yeah.
always a fruit that you have. You enjoy fruits after dinner as dessert. So a lot of the fruit stands stay open very, very late.
Is
Um,
Sicily one of those locations that also has like dinner very, very late?
the bigger meal of the day is usually in the cooler areas of time of day. Sometimes it's like closer to what we would consider lunch would be the heavier meal of the day, and dinner is much later. And dinner is even later in Sicily than in something like Spain.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is not uncommon, at least in modern Sicily. It's not quite. It's not uncommon, at least in modern Sicily, although it was kind of the same in older periods, for dinner to not be until 10 o'clock during the summer.
Yeah.
I could tell you right now that it is currently in Syracuse close to 107 degrees at like midnight.
See, now that would harsh the vibe.
But if you're in Syracuse, you're on your, well, actually, I could be more specific. What is the actual temperature right now? What is the weather?
And then lower it by like 5 degrees for global warming, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like lower it by 2 degrees because the 1230s are in the middle of is a big heat jump right after a mini
Oh,
the the mini what's it called, the mini ice age that
yeah.
occurs. Um, so what is it right now? Oh no, I'm sorry. The temperature dropped. The temperature has dropped. It's currently 89 degrees.
Oh,
Yeah, with winds at about 15 miles an hour.
I like nice and breezy. So there's a nice little breeze.
Yes, because the breeze comes off from the water, and there you get, and it, you know, it's fine as long as it's blowing and you don't have to worry about Etna. It's fine. Well, actually, you don't have to worry about Etna in Syracuse, anyways. So,
I will
but
stop by one of these carts and pick up this unknown fruit to me. This very unique looking shape. I will thank and I will pay for it.
yep, it's
And I will in
purple.
it's purple, which is very unique. And I will like play with like I'm really gonna enjoy it. You'll Elena is gonna be walking back to the villa, and she's just gonna really enjoy this experience. Anyone passing her by is really gonna see her like looking around, toying almost with the pear, feeling it, and smelling it, and like breaking pieces apart of it. Although doing that kind of like in secret. So as because she's doing it, you know, in that way when you have strength, you can do something a little bit more delicately, as pulling a little piece apart. She's like taking little pieces apart when people aren't by and just like examining it and just being like real bougie with it before finally tasting it. And after she tasted for the first time, another piece and then another piece. And by the time before she gets to the back to the villa or near the general gates, she will have consumed the whole thing, and she'll stop by an alley and really just like ruminate on the moment before expelling it.
Violently.
Yeah, violently. You know, not
Yep,
super violently, but you know, it's worth the pain.
it's fair.
And then she will, you know, clean up and then head back into the villa, thinking more about the prickly pear and what she'll have in the morning for breakfast rather than this heavy shadow looming over the night in this place.
And as you return to the villa that you stay at. And our two gentlemen uh, heading to a pig farm make their way outside the city to a pig farm. We're going to take a break for the evening. So, stretch, bio, refresh. We'll be back in a little bit and have the second half of our first session in Sicily. I'm sure that everything will be fine for everyone. Have a good one, everybody. Hey everybody,
Hey.
we're back. PB had to run away from us. We will see them in 2 weeks.
Hmm.
Um, but let us fast forward as you have disposed of 3 dead bodies at a pig farm.
I call one Bernice. That one's my favorite.
Berenike? Sure.
Yes.
My question for you then, gentlemen, is of some import. Um, how do you, shall we say, when do you go to sleep? All that kind of stuff.
Well, I have celestial attunement, which basically means that I know exactly when the sun's going to rise and set within about 10 minutes. So I have a perfect sense of when exactly I need to start heading. Like I use that ability to basically always know the perfect amount of time that I have to go to a location and go to sleep. So I spend every moment I can in the darkness, sweet darkness, enjoying it before I go to sleep, like almost at the crack of dawn.
Indeed.
Hmm.
I I do not gamble that much with the sun. I'm I am usually tentatively home about an hour before sunrise.
Okay, so an hour before sunrise. Let us say that is when you split one. Where are you spending the day, Pietro?
Well, sadly, I no longer have a ship that I can sleep in its holds, so I have to go for a bit of a swim. I go underneath the docks to this darkest corner and sort of lay in a little. I kind of shove myself in a little crack between the stone and the docks and try to sneak in and rest and sleep in the deep dark.
I mean, seems to be a good use of space.
Mhm.
Uh, could you just. No, I think they're fine. You've had enough time to get used to sleeping in these conditions, shall we say?
Mhm. I also, as a merit, have Piscine as well, if that helps in that regard.
Ah. Oh, that's right. You
Mhm.
a fish boy.
I'm a fish boy. Mhm.
Fishy, fishy, fishy.
Mhm.
Um, so this leads to my next question. Where the day passes, it arises a new night. Where do you find, where our guests, as the night falls, are you found?
Well, as the night falls, when the sun finally sets, out coming from the docks, from the deep water, comes my character, Pietro, shoving himself up, kind of shaking himself a little bit like a dog, preparing himself for the night.
How well known is Pietro?
He is a three dots in it.
Oh,
I have the
so
merit. Yeah.
you are well known.
Hmm.
So it would be, probably likely that perhaps one might say that your general area of rest would be known to someone.
Technically, if people saw me around, they could guess where if they knew of my nature, would sleep. Yes.
Well, just like, I mean, the general area of the city, perhaps, one
Yes.
might say.
Yes. They would know I'd be hanging around the docks, most likely. Even without my ship that sadly was taken from me. for reasons that are totally not my fault.
Totally not your fault. I have a very important question about this totally not your fault problem.
Hmm.
Is this totally not your fault in the sense that you owed a lot of money in gambling? Or totally not your fault in the sense that perhaps one defeated you in battle and seized your ship as part of the goods?
It
How did you
would
lose your ship?
it would be the secondary. Uh, Normally I'm usually okay on my ship, taking care of individuals who would have harsh views about what I did as a privateer, taking from the rich and giving to me. But I faced an individual that could hold their own and sadly took it from me.
Who is that individual?
A mad guy I apparently faced on the sea. He was wise enough to, first off, attack me on uh, during the day. Very annoying. But once he crossed into the holes, I thought I had him until he used his magecraft upon me. I
Oh,
swam a lot that day.
so you stay awake during the day.
When I'm being attacked, it takes a bit for my crew to wake me up. They know me as a heavy sleeper.
So your body doesn't fall into true sleep. Interesting. Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Good to know. Um, there is, as you arise and shake yourself off, can I get a perception awareness,
Perception
please?
awareness. No
Or
problem.
actually, excuse me, perception alertness. I did it backwards again. Perception alertness. My
Perception
fault.
awareness. Gotcha. Ooh, I get to reroll that.
Mm-hmm. Three successes. Three
Two
successes.
successes.
Three successes.
Oh, okay.
I don't we're keeping the if you roll a one on the extra die it doesn't count
Oh, okay.
because
I'm down with that.
it becomes too much math.
I
I
gotcha.
understand that there are rules and additions that would still allow that one to be taken away from you after the explosion. It becomes too much math.
Hmm.
As long as we are consistent amongst ourselves, the rules are fair. So, my point is, uh, you see a gentleman standing uh, kind of at the docks, looking around, then kind of looking and focusing on you as you shake yourself like a dog. Um, which, given your clan, it's an interesting
Description. Yes.
yeah. Uh he seems to be well dressed. Not too well dressed for the area, but a lot more well dressed than one might expect, given the time of night right at the docks. Um, Dark hair, tan skin. I mean, really, you are in Sicily, so anyone who looks pale stands out. And it's just shades of darker. Um, Not a Moor or an Arab. Just, you know, Sicilian. We're given value therein. Tight cropped beard, slightly longer. Well, his hair looks like it had been shaven and has started to grow out. Um, his smile seems, as he catches sight of you, mm, interesting. And he starts making his way towards you.
Well, that is interesting.
And he has in his hands a box, lacquered, tied with a piece of string.
I look at him strangely as I take a bit of seaweed from my jacket and throw it back into the sea.
Mm-hmm.
Can I help you?
Signore De Petro.
That is who I am.
And he kind of doesn't quite bow, but he nods in a manner that seems to be respectful and offers the box to you.
May I ask who is delivering and who is this from?
An Elysium has been called.
Ah, I take the box.
2 nights at the Palazzo de Sonna.
Thank you for your service.
And he starts to walk away, and just as he gets beyond the range of the torches in the area, he kind of fades into the shadows.
Still creeps me out as I open the box.
It is a you untie it. It's a lacquered box, dark, heavy wood, possibly ebony, but it's been lacquered and sealed to protect it from the weather. Inside there is a simple scroll, not very large. It's been tied with a red ribbon that has a wax seal in the middle. And the seal is that of the city of
I,
Siracusa.
I break the seal and read the letter.
Do you read Sicilian? Well, no, actually, it wouldn't be written in Sicilian. It'd be written in Latin.
I do not know Latin.
It is written in Latin. It is very highly calligraphied. It is artistic. You can read Pietro, Signore de Pietro, or Signore Pietro, at the beginning, and then a very fancy multi-language signature at the bottom.
I know one person who may be able to read this. Where is Sir Lodane now? Probably in the pig farm at this church. Honestly, it'd be more efficient if the pig farm was in the church, but you know what? I'm not going to argue with that to him again. I'm going to head over to where I think Sir Lodane is, because I assume since he's part of the church, he knows how to read Latin.
Mm-hmm. Um, Sir Ludane, you are up early, are you not?
I am up at twilight.
You get up early because you don't have to sleep that late, because your
Mm-hmm.
body wakes up, actually, instead of being stuck in perpetual sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Fun things that you guys can do.
Mm-hmm.
The bells are ringing because it's just about time for whichever one of the services is right at the end of the twilight, and I don't remember if it, because Vespers is later, it's before Vespers, and it's, I don't remember it off the top of my head. I'm sorry, everyone. I don't know everything. Uh,
Also, it is we we are in a well urban but also pastoral and exceedingly Catholic um city. Um, the bells not only ring for services but also anything that important that happens in town. The bells are rung.
this is true. Also, further to mark the hours.
Yeah, so there's lots of bells.
Mm-hmm. So there are bells as you awaken. Um, where, where can, how well known is Sir Ludane on this island?
I think I think we're establishing been here in the Syracuse amongst these three kindred the longest.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because it wasn't long after um Gregory tried to chide
Mm-hmm.
Frederick that due to certain circumstances, Sir Ludane all of a sudden found himself on the island. Um, and so he's relatively well known.
Okay, so you've been here for a couple months, maybe a year.
Yeah, about a year. I want to say about a year.
So people in the know would know generally where to find you.
Yes.
So as you've awoken earlier than Pietro, by a little bit, uh, there is a gentleman waiting for you as you exit your sleeping quarters. He is a little rougher looking, uh,
Hmm.
darker skin, true African.
Ah,
Although he dresses like a Moor. Lighter tans, heavy linens, highlights of blue in his um, clothing and turban.
hmm. So
Facial
uh,
tattoos as well.
I will respond in Arabic. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Peace be with you, good sir. How may I help you?
He will also respond in peace to you, and he will gesture and hold out a box tied in ribbon in black lacquer.
Guessing this is a message.
An Elysium has been called.
Like the entire disposition just changes.
Mm-hmm.
He cannot help but sigh. I'm guessing weapons are not permitted, but
Oh, to the door.
see. Thank you. Make certain I make my appearance.
He bows slightly, but can you roll me a
Would you like etiquette?
yes, I would like an etiquette.
Okay.
I would like a perception etiquette, actually, I
Okay.
think.
That is one success.
Um it's not insulting. It is the bare minimum.
It, different cultures. I am perfectly fine with this.
He is not
Um,
insulting you.
but at the same time, as courtesy demands, I will bow in receiving and bow lower than he is.
And he will just, as he does that, start to walk away after you've received the box and you give him his bow. He will just start walking away. Um, he will get to the corner and then he's gone.
Oh, keeping an eye on me. I turn in, go inside. Not the first time I've been spied on, but the last. Um, untie the box, and if the sealed letter is in there, I will crack the seal and proceed to read, especially if it is not.
It is in Latin.
Language
It
of the
again,
spirit.
it is sealed as you thought. Again, with the seal of the city of Syracuse. I should be more specific. The Comune de Syracuse, because technically Syracuse is a commune.
Fair enough.
Yep.
So, what what do I see in this missive, and who thinks that they have the power to call Elysium?
So, who has the power to think they have the power to call Elysium? That's actually a very good terminology for you to be using. Who thinks they have the power to do that? And it is indeed. How many people do you know? I mean, you've been here for a year. You've, you know.
I, for the most part, have kept my nose very clean.
Hmm.
Um, I occasionally, I have, it is very well known in my year here that I try to spend most of my time helping the local kind, especially those that are amongst the poor and the downtrodden, um, and try to hold to chivalry deeply, almost obsessively. Um, but for the most part, unless they make themselves known to me, I don't really meddle in kindred affairs.
Uh, so it is a person that you might be familiar with, has at least uh, signed to the, they're, she used her name
Hmm.
as the front, but did sign it as the Commune de Siracusa.
Okay.
So it's Adulorata, and you would generally know her. Well, whom do you think would be the type to call such a meeting?
Somebody of either temporal or supernatural wealth slash power. Um, Again, I was sent here by a friend
Mm-hmm.
to keep my eyes open for precisely this. So, given that I may have been briefed on some of the locals, especially the ones that don't take kindly to my kind.
So Adulorata is a perhaps well known. She, amongst the kind, is the face of one of the major trading houses for the city of Siracusa, the families of Siracusa.
Ah, well, temporal power.
Amongst the kindred, she rules the Tremere of the city with an iron fist.
Oh, fuck, I hate her already.
I don't know why you would say that.
Because they see me as beneath them, and anyone they see as beneath them, and even those that they see as higher than them, they will perform experiments on. I do not like them. Also, some of them are just full-blown witches.
I mean, that seems quite insulting. You can't guarantee that she is indeed a witch.
Guarantee? No. Can easily speculate that is? Yes.
Now, to be fair, it's a very important rank and distinction in Sicily. You don't piss off the strega.
No, especially since most of the individuals who would cross them and somehow live have left the island.
Leave is a complicated term.
Were recalled.
That's more accurate.
So I should not be surprised. I'm just upset.
Her name is Adolorata Karashi. Signora Karashi.
What sort of broad do I need to bring to the shindig?
You would know not to bring wine.
Well, no. Um,
Mostly because her family is one of the biggest traders of
d-
wines.
d- 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 uh, again, she is of the the banker class. Um,
Well, you're in
and
Sicily, yes. Well,
so it is
Well, I should be more accurate. She's slightly above the banker class. She
So
owns
she
land and the trading house.
so she is of one of the major merchant families. Got it.
Yeah.
All
Contr-
right. He has a temporal controlling interest while also being a witch. Um,
she has not claimed the title of Strega yet.
she's a witch. Um, and with that, like Sir Ludain like goes deeper down into the now fully repurposed basement of the church. Um, and okay, what do I have from the old country that I can see about palming off on this witch? As I am going through, like, I've been alive a while. Just the detritus of years I am going through in, like, spare weapons, trinkets, baubles, book that was given to me because I did something nice for an abbey, like any number of things. Okay, it can't be too Christian. We do not know. Um, mm, mm, huh. And just go, well, in one of the many reasons that we don't go back to home is some of the things that we got along the way in leaving home, including this slightly patinaed bronze short sword, which I guess I will give to the witch. It just so happened to be in a lake.
I'm sorry. It is required that I say this. Tots and lakes handing out weaponry is not a basis for a system of government. There we go. Moving on.
I did not encounter the tart.
Mhm.
But you did encounter the weaponry and the system of
Yes.
government.
Mhm.
Yes, I did. And now I am going to present this to the witch as a gift.
I mean, okay.
Mhm.
She's just.
Witches like things that cut people
You're not wrong.
and have history. This does both. Um,
You're not wrong.
so I will.
I think it is while you are rummaging in your
Yes.
basement that Pietro will come down your stairs.
Ludain! Ludain, you in here. Dealing with the pigs.
There are no pigs inside the church.
I keep forgetting, I apologize. Anyway, I got the letter.
Yes, it's for the Elysium. It's been called by one of the locals who was tied to one of the most powerful merchant houses on the island.
Oh, interesting. Is
She's
she...
Tremere.
Oh, fuck. Those wannabes.
Yes. Those ones that love to scheme,
Mm-hmm.
murder, and set people on fire. And
And
somehow the
consider them...
church hasn't purged them yet.
and consider themselves true vampires just because they stole it from a true vampire.
Ah, I see that you have spent some time in Carthage.
It was not a pleasant time.
Yeah, the philosophers are temperamental at the best of times.
True.
Um,
But you have to respect them for their gall, these mortal mages becoming vampires.
it's because they couldn't cheat, apparently. But at least that's the rumor. They were very good at the necromancy, but
Mm-hmm.
somehow they failed at cheating death enough, and this was their next best exit.
Yeah, it worked for them, I guess, and with their whatever. Could you read this for me, please?
It's probably the exact same note, except it has your name on it as opposed to mine.
Just let's be sure, because they might say something different. They might ask me to bring something. I don't know.
Does it say anything different from what I know?
It does.
Mm.
What does it say?
Again, same invitation, to the Elysium being held at the Palazzo della Sonna 2 days hence, 2 nights hence. Also signed by Idolorata Krasci. The difference is there is a whole kind of not quite postscript, but the last 2 lines reminding Pietro of niceties, including the lack of weapons, the peace being invoked as part of an Elysium, so you aren't supposed to use
Powers, etc.
powers. Well, you're not supposed to use powers against other people. Kind of, we're not quite at the
Oh,
formal.
no, no. And this is where he gets even angrier
Mhm.
because of that specific wording.
Mhm.
Because that is a very Tremere wording.
Oh, yes.
You cannot use powers on others. I see.
Yes.
Like no, that is just like he's reading it and like he goes back and like runs a finger under a specific section.
Mhm.
Yes, this is somewhat different.
Oh, oh, how so? They praising my accomplishments, perhaps?
Also asking him to
No,
bathe. And
they
so he
ask
doesn't
that you
smell like wet dog.
they ask that you bathe, you tend in your nicest garments, leave any and all weapons behind, and that a reminder that the peace is enforced and you are to not use powers of the blood against anyone else there or on anyone else there, but
And
powers that are unique to use on yourself by all means.
you now, Pietro is a very laissez-faire type of individual, but this is the one of the few times you've seen him actually pissed. I mean, he puts on an air of being a braggart, but even he would not mess with the Elysium in that way. He, hmm, how insulting. But that's what you expect from the High Clans. Hmm?
Tremere is not high, they aspire to high. They
Well,
like to pretend.
want to
They're
be high.
no self-respecting and true. Some shade the Samba would acknowledge them as high clan.
They want to be High Clan.
Desperately.
Thinking that I've been in enough Elysiums to know the rules. I don't deal with our kind the same way I deal with kind. How insulting.
Yes, but for everyone's sake, I do suggest that you bring some sort of gift and not wine.
Well, there goes plan A. What do you have
Have
on you?
something that you will immediately realize is something that I've given you. Do you really want that?
Hmm. So, no to the sword.
No, or any of the other bits and baubles from my travels. She will most likely know if she is as potent and is like most of the warlocks. She will probably analyze it and may be able to see its history, whatever you give her.
Very well, I have something I might be able to get. A compass, actually. I found, well, I didn't find, I grabbed before I fled. My ship given to me, well, taken from the individual that took it, a Magi.
She might want that.
Yes.
Is it on your person right now?
Well, of course.
Please go outside.
Why?
I don't necessarily want to invite a magi scrying on me.
They can do that.
I haven't told you why I ended up leaving London, have I?
No, you did not.
There are many magics, and some of them just involve you having something that they have in source.
And you see him taking out what looks like a compass. Huh. Well, good to know. I'm glad to give it to a Tremere. And I walk out.
I forget how young he is. That's like just like
Goddamn vampire teens.
So, we have gifts. Um, what have you done with the boxes or the letters?
the box. It was technically a gift,
Mm-hmm.
technically,
Mm-hmm.
and by the rules of etiquette, I cannot, in good conscience, destroy it or
Mm-hmm.
regift it. However, it is perfectly within the gray areas of etiquette to use this box for another purpose. And so I am going to gather up some loose coin,
Mm-hmm.
reseal the box with some twine,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to go and bury it away from my property by a fence.
Cool. How far from
It's
the
a time
crossroad?
capsule.
How far from the crossroads are you?
Oh, I'm a bit of the ways away, and I'm going to find a nice stone fence by a young tree, and I'm going to plant it at the base.
Okay, so here's a fun fact about Sicily. Young trees are not likely to be found. The Romans mostly deforested this island of anything short of orchards that produce fruit. And then those orchards have kind of been left there. So you have a shit ton of hundreds of year old, of 500, 600-year old olive trees. Then
Sure.
the Arabs came and you have like 300-year old lemons and oranges.
I think it's appropriate that I deposit this gift
Mm-hmm.
and now a stash
Mm-hmm.
at the base of a lemon tree.
I love this visual. It's at the base of a Sicilian lemon tree.
Yes,
Could you roll me perception empathy?
certainly.
Excuse me.
I'll spend the willpower on this.
Mm-hmm.
Roll the 10,
Mm-hmm.
3 successes.
3 successes. Um, as you're digging in this hole at the base of this lemon tree, in the dark, the shadows seem to stretch just a little bit. There's this heaviness, this kind of weightiness in the air. Sense of something hunting, but you're not the prey it's looking for.
Do you have
Just
a
at the
better idea?
edge of your vision.
Do you have a better idea of this?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever this is, would you prefer awareness, earth wisdom, or occult?
You could choose either occult or earth wisdom. Either one, hearth wisdom, right?
Yeah, earth wisdom.
Okay. I thought for a minute you said earth wisdom. I was like,
No, earth.
yes. Uh, so you can choose either hearth wisdom or occult, and you will get different information. But you either way you could roll.
I also have theology if you'd like. I didn't think
Another
this
option
was.
you could also try, but again, different options, different information from all three.
I think given what he is burying, he
Mm-hmm.
is going to call upon his occult knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And this feels important, so we'll spend more on those their willpower.
Yes, please spend it.
Okay,
Well, you're at 4 successes.
for now,
Mm-hmm.
I have 3d10 to roll.
Yes,
Yes,
you
you do.
do.
I
Five
have
success.
1d10 to roll.
Nice.
Six
Now,
successes. So you're at
keeping in
6.
mind, 5 is an exceptional in this system, so
Yep.
anything beyond that is
Just
like
extra
miraculous.
spice.
Um, so
Seven.
one, two,
Seven
three,
successes.
That
plus
is
the willpower, so 8.
Oh.
Jesus.
Oh.
Occult.
There's something that watches this island that's hunting. It's old. It's heavy. Sir Ludain, remind me, what is your clan?
I have no plan.
Hmm. But you've heard stories, right?
Many,
Of the antediluvians.
yes.
The clan fathers that walk these nights. You know, Sir Ludain, the Sombra is said to sleep on this island. No one's seen him in over 150 years. But he's said to be on this island.
He was awake, unseen after I was turned. And there's only been somewhere 150 years.
Oh, well, as far as anyone knows, no one's really entered, well, other than the Sombra priests, the Castello d'Ambra, in almost 200 years. The Sombra doesn't rule this island. He could. He could crush it in a thought, in an instant. But he doesn't. He lets the kine play as they will. Some say that he's dead. They're wrong.
Wasn't that long ago that I was teaching a particular Alessandro in Spain. So, no, Alessandro is not dead. Now, is this he, or is this one of his children? Uh-oh.
Well, if it's not him, walking, well, not walking, stretching the shadows just enough to see through them, then it's one of his direct heirs. But it feels old and purposeful. But again, you aren't the target of this attention. You briefly brushed across enough of his thoughts that he glanced your way and acknowledged that your actions are not what he hunts this night. there's a feeling that you feel deep in that bestial mind that perhaps sometimes you try to avoid acknowledging.
Oh, there's a reason there's absolutely no reflective surfaces inside the church that wouldn't be suspect if they were not.
Yes. But in that hind brain, you know if he wanted, you would be prey. But you aren't the prey he hunts. And in fact, given the way he brushed past you, there's a fondness. In that cold, heavy, weighty air of darkness. But it's there and gone in an instant.
Once I finish burying
Mm-hmm.
this box, I'm going to go back to my domicile and I'm penning a letter.
Mm. To whom?
To a former student.
Ah, a student. Were they a good
Rosita,
student?
by the time I was done, they were better than me, so yes. Rosita D'Ergo. Something in order to her.
Oh.
Yes. I know you are not one for formalities, so please forgive your old man his habits, but I'll try to be brief. I am in Sicily. I've been for some time. But this evening, I find myself thinking of you due to the fact that I think I felt the eyes of your progenitor. I am not in tune with the darkness as you are, but I recognize the weight of what gazed and brushed past me. They are active, and they are hunting. Do not come to Sicily. Regardless of what letters you may receive, missives, political power plays, stay on the main. Please. Sincerely, Sir Dan.
Hey, Pietro.
Mm.
After you walked out of his basement, what'd you do?
So there was that scene of him putting coins inside of his box, choosing the perfect place to bury it, following all the rules of etiquette. Cutscene to me at the dock, at the pier, kicking a box into the river and walking away.
I can see it. And it just kind of bobs for a minute
hmm
and then settles for a little bit. A little bit of water starts to get in and it starts to sink
hmm
slowly to the bottom. Do you have keen senses? No, you don't.
Is that an ability or
Um, what is your
What is your
protean? You have the ability, I should think, to be able to see
Yeah.
oh,
almost perfectly in darkness,
I
but
see
I
I
don't.
can see I can activate Protean 1 if I wish to. Yes.
But as opposed to heightened senses, that's all specs.
Yeah,
I
that's
do
all
not have that.
specs.
No. I do not
So
have
you
that.
have Protean. Um,
Yes.
He can have perfect night sight.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can't have perfect night sight. Do you choose to use it? Is a question. It's just generally.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it only costs a blood and it's easy enough to grab from a kind that's nearby.
As the box sinks into the darkness below, you can see perfectly clear down into the water. You start to see something interesting. As the box begins to sizzle, and you see what looks like little bubbles of boiling water around it.
Hmm.
And steam start to creep up. You hear a minor hiss, just barely on the wind.
Well, that's strange. And coming from Tremere, I could guess nothing less. Kicking it into the river. Perfect way to take care of most problems, I find.
Well, if you're in Sicily, you're not kicking it into the river, you're kicking it into salt water.
Kicking into the salt was the perfect way to get rid of most problems, yes. I find. And then I go off into the night after that sizzling moment. It was like, because Pietro's like, Tremere magic. Doesn't even think too much about it. It's like, I'm sure it has some sort of trick or something. I don't trust a box from the Tremere. And he just walks away and goes like, I'm feeling a little peckish.
Oh, you're going hunting.
Mm-hmm.
We have a thing for that.
Yes, you do.
Perception is the basis for it.
Yes.
If you have heard, it lowers the difficulty if you choose to use it, or if you have heard, you can just get automatically that many points of blood.
Yes.
I sadly do not have heard.
So where are you going in this city to go dining?
Well, sadly, in a city like this, I'm assuming there are people who are down on their luck.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna go for somebody. Now, I'm only missing one. Actually, I'm not missing any, but I'm still peckish. So I'm gonna hunt someone, but I'm not going to kill. Just gonna have enough to
Well,
top
you'd
myself
be
up.
down at least one because you have to spend one every night
Oh,
to
right,
do
yes, I did. So yeah, I need to top myself up. I'm gonna grab someone to, you know, get a little taste inside of me, but not
So,
kill the individual.
oh, that's fair. So, uh, the difficulty would be a 4 then.
Okay, and this what was my role?
It's perception, it's perception alertness, isn't it?
Perception alert.
Is perception whatever you deem the skill is?
Yeah, whatever I deem the skill is. And I
Mm-hmm.
think, I mean, you're the best option here would either be perception alertness because you're hunting for someone,
Mm-hmm.
not seeing somebody and making a brawl out of it. So perception alertness.
Perception alertness it is.
And you're not trying to hide what you're doing.
No,
So you've got 2 successes so far, plus a 10 to reroll.
2 successes.
Unfortunately, tonight is not a good night. You're
Well,
a
they
little
all can't.
peckish.
Well, no nice can't be perfect, and enough has happened. I already killed plenty of people who were going after me. These things happen. I can survive one night without a bite to eat. So I'm not going to go on a rampage anytime soon.
No, you're not hungry. You're not that
Yeah,
frenzied, and
yeah, yeah.
you're not going to be.
Mm-hmm.
You're a little peckish. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting. It's a difficulty 4, by the way,
Huh.
for a seedy district. It's interesting what what the difficulties are when you get to fancier places, which I find hilarious.
Also, depending on if you have prey exclusion, each one of those increases the difficulty by 1 up to 9.
Jeez.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. So, what are you going to do now that your hunting is not successful?
Well, since we've got 2 nights until the Elysium,
Mm-hmm.
I went hunting and nothing went wrong. Uh, I mean, else can I do? If there's time this night, I'm gonna go see if I can get my fortunes back slowly and look to see if there's people looking for crew for a ship. Just general information. A ship
So,
that I can eventually acquire for myself down the road. It's not an immediate plan. It's like I'm casing the dock for like a ship I can
uh
take down the
huh,
road.
uh huh. So you have an option.
Hmm.
You can go with manipulation awareness
Mm.
or perception subterfuge. Your choice.
I'm gonna go for manipulation awareness. And I'm gonna spend a point of willpower to give me an automatic success whenever I roll.
Mm-hmm.
Which I needed.
Yes, because you only have 2 successes. Um,
Hmm.
it's easy enough to find a bar near the docks where the captains looking for easy crew hang out. You know, the ones who don't actually keep a crew, they turn over with every port they attend.
Hmm.
Not always the most reputable of captains.
Perfect. No one will miss them if they're replaced.
No, no one will miss them if they're replaced. I do have another question for you, though, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know anyone of the kindred in this city? Besides Sir Ludane, of course.
Although he is well known, he is not. He goes from dock to dock. I'm going to say no. He doesn't know many of the kindred in this area.
Oh. Good to know. Just means I make a little note. Um,
Hmm.
so you're spending the next 2 nights preparing for the Elysium, trying to find a ship that you can appropriate and possibly murder a captain or two.
Yep. Well, hopefully not the quartermaster. They're useful.
Oh, I said captain. You're only murdering the captain.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Captains are all figureheads. Well, except for me, of course. But generally, they're all just.
But what are you doing, Sir Ludane?
Um, well, aside from like doubling down and saying my prayers, considering everything, um, oh, oh, this isn't good. Oh, there's going to be an armistice. Like when he's done with another round of prayers,
Mm-hmm.
there'll be another letter sent. Um, this is not going to Frederick himself. This is going to someone in Frederick's court.
Ah, kind or kindred.
Kindred,
Hmm. Someone
my
you
dear,
know well?
yeah, yes, my dearest Elena.
Mm-hmm.
I happily took this job to balance a debt. That being said, things have gotten much more complicated. The Tremere holding an Elysium, which I will attend, but that is not why I am. The Sombra stirs. Not fully active, but active enough to be hunting. I await your reply, but if I do not hear anything within 6 months, I'm going to leave this godforsaken island.
I mean, you're not going to get an answer right away.
No, I said 6 months.
A respectable amount of time.
Um, Sincerely, he holds off on doing anything else aside from sincerely, like he restrains Sir Day.
Hmm.
And then he's going to do something really.
Oh,
There's one other letter.
I'm here for the
This
letters.
this one's going to London.
Oh! Oh. Someone who hates the Tremere even more?
Yes. um, to His long established highness, Mithras. I know we have not seen eye to eye on many things, but as I walk the path of chivalry, it would be beneath me to not inform you of such momentous events. I write to you from Sicily, from Syracuse. A member of the clan Tremere calls an Elysium. I will attend as etiquette demands. But also, something old stirs. I am not certain if it is the Sombra himself or one of their direct children, but something within the shadows hunts and is hungry and is very old. And considering that the last time we spoke was a century ago, I think you will take this with the concern that it ends. A servant of Path of Kings, yours, Sir Vivek.
So the Dane is sending messages. Important ones by all accounts. Pietro is looking for his next means of employment.
Mm-hmm.
And kindred across the city of Syracuse are moving, preparing for a new shift in order. An Elysium has been called. But that is where we're going to end this first night's tale
Mm-hmm.
for this new chronicle. And we won't next week we will be back, but it won't be in Syracuse and it won't be with these fine vampires. Team High Clan in the city of Palermo
Mm-hmm.
enters the stage. So, I will let my fine players tell you where they can find you. Share some love from this afternoon, something you enjoyed, something you appreciated, and what you're looking forward to in 2 weeks when we come back for Team Low Clan.
Mm-hmm.
So, when we begin with an Elysium.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's start with Jesus.
Okay. Hey guys, you can know me as Arvandus. You can find me on Arvandus on most things. You can find me on the Fanable podcast, which I've been part of for a couple of years, where we play a wide variety of games. I also have the Arvandus YouTube channel where I review the lore of various war games because I'm that type of nerd. And I'm super excited about this game. And what I'm excited about this particular game in 2 weeks, I'm gonna of course watch the game in a week with the High Clan. I don't know why they call themselves High, but fine. In 2 weeks is going to Elysium, and if an opportunity comes to perhaps kill a Tremere, I won't say no.
Any Tremere, or just
I mean, you know what? I don't discriminate. Any Tremere that shows up, if yeah, I'm not gonna recklessly kill people, but if a Tremere shows up that I can kill without repercussions, I will do so.
So what I'm hearing is you're planning to violate the peace of the
I
Elysium.
would never. Pietro is a gentleman. He follows the rules. Always.
And then follows you home and murders you in your sleep.
Exactly. You see, that's why we're friends. He understands me.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Mm.
Very well then. Thanks for being here. Thanks for choosing agreeing to play in this shenaniganry and
Of
this
course.
storytelling. Um, hey Pope, how are you? Share some love, and what are you looking forward to for next week?
Oh, there's so much love. First business, then pleasure. Hey everybody, Pope here. Pope World Build on the internets over on Twitter and Blue Sky. Um, Again, rather dark this week. It's the week after everything gets really busy. So lead up to coming back for Team Low Clan. I will be over on Lost Caravan on Thursday of that week for Weird and Wild, and then uh, funnily enough, as discussions in the chat, that Friday I'm going to be reunited with some old friends still over on Lost Caravan, playing some Call of Cthulhu.
Mm.
We're on a derelict ship in the frozen north called the Erebus. Nothing's going to go wrong there. Um, and then yes, definitely be back here for more of Team Low Clan. But of course, I will also be here along with Arvaldus and the rest, seeing what Team High Clan has in store. Uh, I love that like PB came in and was just entirely like very posh, very making sure that she is seen. Not only is she is seen doing something exceptionally human, eating.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can see somebody who is very deliberate in their day-to-day life, um, and establishing a persona as soon as they get into any town or city. Um, as for Pietro, like that's like we are starting in media res because Jesus says so. Uh, we are starting in a back alley in Sicily, 3 versus 1. Is it
Hmm.
a fair fight? Is it not?
I
Uh,
mean, vampire versus humans is never a fair fight. Let's be honest here.
uh, in modern era, three
Mod
human and a Buick do the job most of the time.
Fair enough.
Uh,
Fair enough.
there are some modern day trucks that are GM enough to take out a vampire. Uh, but yeah, no, immediately it, in it, and then just this this deep like Pietro is very Gangrel, but at the same time he is still trying to be that roguish gentleman.
Listen, I tried to convince them with words first. You got to give me that. I tried. If that's successful, that was great. If it didn't, then I had to kill them.
I I am just curious now about another Gangrel's lineage and if it runs through Pietro. For those who have been long watching fans on this channel, you will know the Gangrel I'm talking about. And I'm just wondering if Pietro may be a grand or great grandsire.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not impossible that a certain gangrel of lineage who may or may not have, showed up in stories of games that I have run.
Uh,
Um,
Especially with the paired just loathing, immediate loathing of Clan Trooper. It's just,
Okay,
it's,
I need to listen to these games because that sounds like a Tremere brother, sorry, of Grangle Roller of my own heart that I need to
so it
listen
is
to.
actually, I didn't run it on my channel. I ran it on Simon Wandering
well,
DM's
yeah.
channel.
Okay,
It's Vampire Nightfall. It's a Vampire the Masquerade game set in 2017, 2016 in New York.
nice.
And it is where I created one of my most favorite things ever done. And one of my
Ooh,
most favorite villains.
I'm
Yeah,
down.
it definitely go catch that, and then keep up with this and see where the comparisons are.
Nice.
Uh, and I am like one of the things that like we haven't done because there's certain things that when you are in a Prax game will show up eventually, and you will enjoy, and it will also torment you. And certain things have yet to occur. We haven't gotten the large NPC document
No, it is in
Yet.
the chat. It's not large yet. It's just there is an NPC
yet.
document.
Hmm.
Yet. And there's yeah, we 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 will get to see that unfold, and as things are revealed to us all. I am looking forward to that. I am looking forward to how whose buttons get pressed the hardest at the Elysium, because again, it's in a gathering with kindred. There are going to be people who are going to do everything in their power to make this an absolute shit show. And then there are others who are just going to try and get by. That's how Elysiums work. You have people who are trying to stir shit up, and then you have this people who are just, can we just get through this meeting, please? So seeing how that plays out, I am chomping at the bit, but also for next week, there is a Lasombra amongst the high clans. And I'm wondering what they are going to sense in Palermo. If it's similar or dissimilar, I am very, very curious as to what they feel. And I am also most definitely certain with that many high clans, someone is going to call it Elysium, and someone is going to make themselves a problem, whether it's the PCs or the NPCs. Who knows? But I am definitely tuning in to find out. And thank you all so much for being here. We're live on YouTube the streets. A story is nothing without its audience. We're much part of this as we are. And before I sign off, definitely catch PB over at PB Plays Inside, um, doing some either solo gaming, solo RPGs, although working on those, as well as if you're like me and appreciate Destiny's lore, but not necessarily the game, definitely tune in for whenever PB is playing Destiny to have that lore conversation with someone who knows the depths of it and can share it and digest it to where you can experience it without having to do the wizard chores that that game requires of you. Uh, and also, just because I was a huge fan of it, uh, PB did a what a quick one shot, maybe a two shot, Knights Black Agents over on Troopers channel.
It's an
Ooh, nice.
ongoing. It's an ongoing. She's gonna
Yeah.
be back next week.
Oh, you want to check out the VOD. That was way too good. And not only are we dealing with, spy stuff, cool tradecraft spy stuff, also gets weird.
Interesting.
So you definitely want to catch that. And till next time, folks, take care of yourselves and one another. See you soon.
And to answer the question in chat, Unstable Dios, we are in the year 1230. And yes, the Tremere have diabolized Salot and are technically running around as a clan.
Technically, technically.
But we are
Again,
there are going to be interesting things that happen in this timeline.
the,
Mhm.
the pyramid always looks out for number one.
It does indeed. But I will thank you all for being here. Thank you all for hanging out tonight. Thank you to my wonderful players for playing. Thank you, viewers, for coming back. I'm sorry we've been away for a month or two. I needed a little bit of a break. And then there was other things that had to happen, and now we are back. So we'll be back on Sundays, alternating teams, starting with Team Syracuse or Team Low Clan.
Hey,
And then next week we have Team Palermo or Team High Clan. And the story will be very interesting to see what happens.
hmm.
Now, I have a little teaser for you. As a sedan chair is carried through the city, large, muscular men, 8 of them, carry the chair, dressed in blacks, dark turbans on their heads, and hanging brushed orange and red laces and organzas hang as curtains over the chair. And as we see this chair proceed through the city, through the Piazza del Duomo, over to the Piazza del Sonna, a hand with impeccably tailored, filed, shaped, colored, bright red nails shifts the curtain just a little as the chair continues past the Piazza di Sono. You see a flick of curtain and a snap of the fingers to encourage the gentleman carrying the sedan chair to move just a little bit faster. And with that, we're going to end for tonight.
Woo.
I'll be back here on Sunday. Unfortunately, not on Saturday. I am still working on reading a bunch of things. I didn't have a lot of reading club stuff because I've been reading a lot of history in preparation for this game because I'm that nerd. But we will be back next Sunday for more of excuse me, Ali Sono de Notte. And thank you again for being here, everybody. Let's see who we can raid, who is up, who is... Oh, well, Cybernation Uncensored is playing some Vampire the Masquerade. So we're gonna go raid them. Because, you know, vampire life. And we will see you all next week as Team High Clan takes the stage. Bye-bye, everybody.
Woo. See ya.